They say water has memory, but in the village of Umu-Eze, the water has ears. There is an old well at the edge of the kolanut farm. It is deep, it is cold, and it is hungry. The elders warn the children, never speak your anger into the well, for the echo might answer back. But Ada and Nneka didn't listen. They were two wives, married to the same wealthy farmer, Okonkwo, and they hated each other with a poison that was blacker than the water below. This is the story of a rivalry that started with a whisper and ended with a scream. Okonkwo was a rich man, but his house was a battlefield. Ada, the first wife, had the history. She had helped him build his fortune from the ground up. Nneka, the second wife, had the youth. She held his heart with her beauty. They didn't fight with the fist, they fought with silence. A spilled pot of soup here, a torn wrapper here. It was a cold war. Until the morning, Ada decided to break the silence. Mist covered the ground as Ada walked to the abandoned well. She looked into the black water, her heart full of pain and bitterness. She leaned over the damp stones and whispered, I wish she would lose her beauty. I wish the boils would take her face so he cannot look at her. The water rippled silently. Though there was no wind, a low humming sound echoed up from the dark. The next morning, Nneka woke up screaming. Her face was covered in angry red rashes that no salve could soothe. Ada watched from her doorway, sipping her tea with a smile. She thought it was luck. She didn't know she had started a transaction. But Nneka was not a fool. She knew Ada had caused her. That night, shaking with rage and hiding her face behind the veil, she went to the well. Her tears mixed with the rash on her cheeks as she hissed into the dark. I wish she would break her leg. I wish she would never walk to his hut again. 2 days later, Ada slipped on a patch of oil that shouldn't have been there. Her leg was shattered. Now the house was silent. One wife hid her face in shame. The other lay stuck in her bed in pain. But instead of stopping, the war escalated. Night after night, they dragged themselves to the well. They traded pieces of their lives for revenge. Let our goats die, one whispered. Let our kitchen burn, the other answered. Let her go blind. Let her lose her voice. The well granted every wish. It fed on their hate. The compound, once the envy of the village, began to rot. The goats died. The kitchens turned to ash. And in the middle of it all, Okonkwo grew tired and sick. His spirit broken by the venom in his own home. Finally, they had nothing left to destroy but the prize itself. They met at the well at midnight. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds. Ada stood on her crutches. Nneka stood with her scarred face. They didn't speak to each other, they spoke to the water. I wish, Ada began, her voice trembling. I wish he would never look at her again. I wish, Nneka interrupted. I wish he would never listen to her again. The water began to boil. Steam rose from the shaft and a roar came from the deep. The well heard them both, and like a cruel judge, it decided to grant both wishes at the exact same time. If you could not look at one and could not listen to the other, then it could not be there at all. Back in the main hut, Okonkwo gasped, clutched his chest, and fell silent. The morning wail told the story. The husband was gone. The funeral was grand, but the two widows stood apart. They had won. Ada ensured Nneka would never be looked at with love again. Nneka ensured Ada would never be listened to again. But the man they fought over was food for the worms. When the guest had left, the two women went back to the well one last time. They looked in. The water was calm again, clear, innocent. For the first time, they didn't see an enemy in the reflection. They saw two broken, lonely women staring back. The well had given them exactly what they asked for, a life without the other winning. But it cost them the only thing they were fighting to keep. Hate is a thirsty thing. It drinks and drinks, but it is never satisfied until the cup is dry. Be careful what you whisper in the dark. Be careful what you wish for. And be careful what you wish for your enemy. Because sometimes the universe doesn't punish you by ignoring your wishes. It punishes you by granting them. Who was more at fault? The first wife for starting it, or the second wife for escalating it? Let me know in the comments. If this story gave you chills, hit the like button to seal the well and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Until then, watch your whispers.